go to the next topic. Let's run this down. Here we go. So I did another graphic that I was so proud of. I did a little rundown graphic. The logo went bing, bing. I love it. She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Joy, you have not watched this episode, right?
I was in the process and I didn't finish.
Yeah, okay. You didn't do your homework. D-. You're gonna get a D+ later, but you're gonna get a D+ later, but you got a D- right now. Episode 3.
Yes. All right.
Let me get your thoughts on it first.
We got episode 3, She-Hulk. So prepare for spoiler alerts.
Spoiler alert. So it says right there in the lower third, She-Hulk, spoiler. So if you haven't seen She-Hulk, leave, come back after we're done.
Yeah.
Or mute this. Don't leave.
Yeah.
Mute.
Don't leave. Or don't leave. Mute. And then chill.
Yeah.
So, episode 3. I really liked this episode. I thought this episode was fantastic. You got some really interesting, like you said, fourth wall breaks, which I thought were amazing.
These fourth wall breaks were the best.
They were really, really good. You got some development with the storyline in the sense of how she's going to interact as a lawyer with these superheroes. It's really developed in that aspect with the Abomination and how she's taking these people to court, which I really liked how they did that. There were so many nuggets in this episode that I thought were just like these wonderful precursors to what's going to happen, and so I'm really excited to see where they take it. But this is a really funny episode. I thought they really kicked up the comedy, they really kicked up those interactions, and with the DA having to go to trial, and she just, I really am liking how they're taking some current issues within society with women and how they're portrayed in the work environment and how society is deeming these issues, which would deem feminist issues, which
woke.
Yeah, we already established that I'm the token lesbian who's woke here.
Oh no! When I say that, I'm making fun of those assholes that will say that. So I'm not saying that.
I am that person here.
Yeah.
But I really like that they're bringing attention to it. It's kind of fantastic, and they're doing it with comedy. They're doing it with sincerity, and it's just meshing and working so well. And it just, I don't know, it hits a chord with me, and I love it. And first of all, I love the actress that plays She-Hulk. I've been obsessed with her from previous shows, but it's really well done, and I'm eager to see where this show transitions and how it goes. And we even talked about how we hope some things kind of evolve, and maybe they'll bring some fan favorite stuff like Deadpool and those things into it, and see like our wishes for the show. But I've been really digging how they're incorporating our social issues right now within the show. It's just been really well done.
I thought that. Let me hide the chat box for a second on this screen that I'm putting up right now. I got the screen because it was mostly focused on Abomination and Wong, so I got She-Hulk and Wong.
Yes, it really was.
This was, to me, and I told my wife this earlier today. This might have been, as far as funny, the funniest MCU Disney Plus episode in comparison to every other series from the MCU. I thought this was the funniest one.
It really was.
I'm not going to say it was the best one because I still don't know where it ranks as far as all. To me, the best episode of this series, yes.
But it was smart humor too.
Yeah.
There was so much smart humor in it. Just with the Abomination and him sitting there in the way.
Yes.
He was like my soulmates. And I was just like
the thing about the soulmates, I did not expect to see these I don't want to say Amish, like maybe Amish kind of type of like hippie type, or I don't know.
That one movie where it's like summer something.
You in the chat room, you know what she's talking about. I know the movie. Midsummer. I have not seen that movie, but I know the poster.
Yes.
They were dressed in all white and they had flower crowns on. That was his soulmates. I'm going.
There was like how many of them were there?
7. I think there was. I want, if I'm paroled, I want to be released into the care of my 7 soulmates. And you see these lovely little girls. They walk up and they're all like, oh, and And I got a thanks, Nixon B. Midsummer. Yeah, it was Midsummer, and I just was not expecting that.
I know, it's hilarious. He's like, I'm so zen.
Let's go. I'll try to go down I'm gonna go down the in order because I got the graphics set up. So I want to talk about first the whole thing with Wong. The thing about Abomination being released early, like broken out of prison, like his reason, like when we saw Shang-Chi, and spoilers if you haven't seen Shang-Chi, but what the hell? You saw there was a underground fight scene where Wong was fighting Abomination, and instantly had everybody like, "What the hell?" Like, we know that after the events of the Incredible Hulk, when the Hulk was a different guy, literally, we know that the Abomination was put in that Supermax kind of a prison. But then we see the Abomination fighting Wong of all people in an underground fight,
out of the blue,
and it interfered with his parole. It's like, dude, we let you. How are we going to let you out of prison when we see that you've escaped? How did that? And his defense was, Wong broke me out and all that. And I love the fact that they went this direction.
Yeah.
Wong did not shy. At first, I thought it was going to be like, you're never going to catch Wong. I mean, how are you going to have a warrant out for the Sorcerer Supreme? That joke about 0 commute time and this dude is still late to court was funny as hell. This dude has 0 commute time and he's still fucking late.
Yeah.
But he shows up and he tells the court. He tells him straight up, I broke him out because I needed to challenge myself as the Sorcerer Supreme. I needed an opponent. I chose him. I broke him out. I gave him and before that, I gave him an opportunity to stay released. He chose to stay in prison.
It's a great way.
Great.
Oh,
so
good.
maybe Abomination is still playing us, or maybe he has reformed.
You don't know.
But the fact that Wong, when Wong said that, and then obviously I was like, well, technically, you can't just go to court and say I broke a dude out of prison, and without any repercussions. And I was like, are they gonna go there? And they did. They were like, dude, you realize that you broke the law and you broke.
Like, I gotta go.
He instantly like, portal, I'm out. The funniest shit ever. Like, what? Out of time. Gotta go. And like 0 commute time. I'm out of here. It was like you're not gonna catch him. It was like you're not gonna get that ring off his finger. So that was hilarious. This with the Abomination stuff with Wong. It was one of the funniest episodes. Another character that was also interesting. This was some camera. So we talked about, and we kind of already talked about. This moment. That's the alphas that we were talking about. The soulmates. They love and you saw the Incredible Hulk, right? With him. I'm still curious. I'm still very curious. I love Mark Ruffalo, but I'm still curious of what Ed Norton would have done.
You think?
Everybody was pissed when he was recast in the beginning. But when we saw Avengers, we was like, he is a better, more fitting Bruce Banner.
I think he's better.
But we would not have. I mean, if I say this all the time, if Tom Cruise would have taken the job and was Iron Man, we would have said that is the best Iron Man ever. And I'm glad they never chose Robert Downey Jr. That's what we all would have said.
Okay, I may have an unpopular opinion, but I do not like Tom Cruise.
I'm just saying. Even though when I say that to people who don't like Tom Cruise,
I do not. I don't get no. Tom Cruise could have never been Iron Man.
Yes, he was Iron Man.
No, not the same. No.
But you only say that because you have the benefit of seeing Robert Downey Jr.
No, I can tell you. No.
Robert Downey Jr. was in a lot of hot water with Hollywood. He, with the scandals and everything like that. Kevin Feige had to be convinced to take a chance on Robert. But maybe if you put $250 million in a movie, you would have cared.
No.
Well, he had that reputation back in the day of.
I mean, he was doing crazy
Miller's
stuff.
He was
exactly where Ezra Miller is. He broke into when he was high.
Iron Man.
Yeah,
Iron Man is this upper class, which is what a celebrity is.
Yeah.
This upper class person who's a rebel, which is.
But who has more money? But who has more money than Tom? But Tom Cruise has more money than Robert Downey Jr., especially at the time.
Stupid. I hate him.
They just were worried that if we.
He was a risk. He was more of a studio risk.
He could easily go haywire.
I agree that he's rich.
I mean, the dude broke into a guy's house while he was high one day, and he went to bed, went to sleep, and the owner of the house was like, Robert Downey Jr., you realize you broke into my house,
Guess
right?
what? That's a great story.
That's a great story.
And guess what a movie is? A great fucking story.
But it was one of the reasons. But it was one of the reasons why Kevin Feige was afraid to take a chance on. My point is, if Tom Cruise would have taken the job, we would have all said we'd be saying what about Tom Cruise what we're saying about Robert Downey Jr. Because hindsight is 20/20. Edward Norton, because he was great in that movie.
I love Edward Norton.
He was,
wrong.
yeah.
I think Edward Norton is amazing. He's genius. I love.
But if
him.
if he was still the Incredible Hulk to this day,
Yeah.
we'd be saying the same thing.
But
But we have Mark Ruffalo's performance compared. Mark Ruffalo, with his demeanor, it fits more than to where the writing was going.
Ed Norton has too much of a harshness that I think
He wrote most of that movie. Although not most, but
he has too much of a hardness, I think, in his acting style that I think that Mark brings a softness to it that I think creates this lovable aspect that I think creates a different sort of interaction for that, and that's why I think he's better.
I'll say this:
because you got to balance it. The Hulk, you got to balance that lovability.
Mm-hmm.
If Edward Norton was still the Hulk right now, there would be a huge argument. He would probably have already been fired by now because the whole smart Hulk angle, I don't think Edward Norton would have gone for that. Because he started to act like and feel like he could be in charge of the direction the Hulk was going. And Kevin Feige ain't going to play that. This is his playground. You're only in it. I don't think that if Edward Norton had his way, I don't think there would be a smart Hulk. And that's probably that's probably because his Hulk was he embraced the savageness of it. I don't think he could. I think Mark Ruffalo can pull off the smart Hulk thing. I don't think Ed could.
Yeah. What you're forgetting is that Mark brings this softness to it that I just don't think Ed had. Like I don't.
No, he was playing off the whole original
Yes.
TV show from back in the day.
Being a loner, being
Yes.
the dramatic heartbreak side of Hulk. Edward Norton played that perfectly, but it didn't fit into where the direction that the Hulk was eventually going to go.
The original Hulk just grunted and
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But beyond that, though, but we're going back to this episode. I think one of the other things that was so great about this episode was this character right here.
Yes. So well done.
What's his? I was starting to get tired of him.
Yeah.
I felt like his crap from episode 1 and episode 2, and like he was being that gimmicky guy, and I could already hear the ass clowns already, the woke ass clowns already complaining about him. I bet he's supposed to be representing, the cis white male and stuff like that. And yes, maybe he is.
It's a group of them.
But besides episode 1 and episode 2, in episode 3, when his B story, and I like the fact that she pointed out story A and story B have now come together. She looked at the camera and was like, both stories are now come together.
Yep.
His story with his lawsuit, and because you haven't seen it, a shapeshifter
I saw part.
pretended to be Megan Thee Stallion,
Yeah, I saw
and he
that
was
whole
convinced.
part.
So he thought he was dating Megan Thee Stallion. This episode made him interesting. But I started to like him. He didn't change. He's still a dick.
Absolutely.
But I liked him.
Well,
after
what you liked was the fact that his dickness.
His dickness.
His dickness.
Testify. Come on.
His dickness.
Talk about the dickness. What you know about the dickness?
I know some.
Oh God. I walked right into that shit, didn't I? You don't know my life, Chris.
You don't know my life? I've got my own. It's okay.
Had a little experience with the hot D.
His dickness really embodied this personality for her to be able to confirm that he really was so self-consumed that he thought he was dating this person. It just...
I love the fact that they used that against him.
Which made it so magical. I loved it. And it really it gave you this, idea, well, yeah, this is a shitty situation, and this asshole is wanting his money back from this other
The
asshole.
scam artist, right?
The scam artist.
This
other
Asgardian
asshole.
scam artist, right?
But, and so you got two assholes in the room, but his assholeness is just a little bit less than the other assholeness,
Yeah.
which was great in its own way. And his self-consumed mannerisms and way of life really showed that he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because he really did think he was dating.
Megan Thee Stallion, because
Megan Thee
this
Stallion.
this elf from
yes.
not elf, but it was Asgardian
Yes.
shapeshifter pretending to be.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
She was so good. And then her trying to be the judge. And oh my God.
Dude, it was funny how I love the fact that I thought that that was a gimmick that could have got tired fast, with the fact that in the most ridiculous moments,
Yes.
the judge just made the decision, and then 5 minutes, 5 seconds later, the judge comes back and changes. It's the shapeshifter.
It was so
They,
good.
not making it so obvious, but it was hilarious how she did not get, like, you would be surprised how many times I get away with this.
It's
Kind of
so
that was what it felt like. You would be
Yeah.
surprised how often I get away with this. So it's like, yeah, but she made it funny as hell.
It was so good.
I want to see more of her fucking with him.
Yes.
I want that to be a show.
So, I loved even like I even loved She-Hulk was whenever he was in the meeting with the lawyers, and she was like, "You really believe this?" And she's just over there doing this giggle like, "I can't believe you thought."
She laughed her ass
It's
off.
just so.
She was like, and was able to use it at the end
Yes.
as a defense.
Yes.
Like, this is going to work. And I was like, oh shit, I know where they're going.
Yes.
Look,
It was so
your
good.
Honor, this man is so egotistical, self-centered, and such an ass. He is the kind of guy who could fall for this scam.
Yep.
He would believe that multiple Grammy-winning, one of the top 5 best female rappers today, right now, would fall for him. What car did she say that she drove? You thought this was the real Megan Thee Stallion driving a a Honda POS. I don't know.
It's like a Prius or
Right,
something
right.
stupid, you know.
Right, you really thought
Yeah.
this is how
So
much of a
good.
self-absorbed dick this guy is.
Yeah.
He would really fall. So obviously he's the victim. So
Well,
that and it worked. That was the angle they went, and it worked. They focused on the Ally McBeal legal side of this. This
Yes.
episode really dove deep into that, and it worked.
And it really was heavy on the comedy. It was heavy on like creating that balance between the two, and also I thought it was well done. And then the
Yeah.
last scene,
Yeah.
the last scene was magic.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I mean, we all. I mean, like I said, this is the spoiler talk. When we got the cameo from Megan Thee Stallion, and the twerking,
Yes, I was like,
The
did
thing.
She-Hulk get it?
I'm like, what the hell?
I was
What
so happy. I was like,
this?
this is how we do it.
This was right there on par with Stan Lee. I think it was Deadpool when his cameo, where he was the DJ at the strip club. That's how funny this
Yes.
end credit scene was. It
Yes.
was right there on that level.
Yes, it was. So
It was
good.
that good. Like you got Megan Thee Stallion, and I was like, oh, that's it. Because when I first saw it, I was like,
Where she was sitting in
when she was sitting in the court
yeah.
licking the lollipop, like there's only one Megan Thee Stallion. I was like, oh, that's it. That's what we made a big deal out of.
No.
But the
no.
end credit scene
This
was
people.
like, because she becomes
Yeah.
Megan's lawyer.
Yeah.
And
then
that
she signs
line.
The contract,
What-
and then she's like, hey.
And that line, do you remember the line that she said? And then like she was so happy to have her as a client. I will kill for
Oh
you.
yeah, she did. She turned. She goes, "I'll kill." She's like, "Calm down."
Like, dial it back. Yeah, dial it. She said, dial it back.
I love that.
Because this is a Hulk. We're talking about a Hulk.
Yeah.
A Hulk just told you, I will kill for you. Megan Thee Stallion, but to her credit, took that seriously and was like, dial that back.
Yeah, it was great. It
That
great.
was awesome.
And they did such a good job because she turned. She said, "I'll kill for you." Like
I
it
would
changed because they were all
kill-
like twerking and shit. She's
yeah.
like, "I'd kill," and it went intense.
No, but the guy who I think is probably now there's two people I feel like could be the secret villain of this episode. I thought her new boss
Okay.
was the villain.
I don't think he's gonna be.
I don't think now. You know who I'm now thinking is the villain? Who could be the villain?
Who?
That other lawyer, the guy who defended that douchebag.
You think he's gonna be the villain? He's such a nice guy.
He's a nice guy,
He's
but
and he seemed like even when the fairy came out and impersonated him was like something about women.
I harass all women,
all
and then he was like, no, you know me, I don't do that.
Yeah.
That was the
He seems
shapeshifter.
like such a nice guy, so I don't think that he'll do that.
Look, here's why I think my other catchphrase: you don't know my life, you don't know his life.
I mean,
If you recognize that actor, you've seen him on shows like Arrow, where he
Yeah.
played villains. He is so good at playing a villain. Now maybe this is a role like he's like, I'm tired of playing villains. Marvel has hired me to play a good guy this time, a nice guy. But he's so good at playing a villain. It's only because he's so good at playing a villain. He was in Arrow. He was one of Arrow's villains. He's so good at that. Maybe he's the villain.
I don't know.
But
his character, it would be such a change of his character. His character.
Yeah, unless he's a plant. But it would be a departure.
Yeah.
It would be.
It would be. I
But
don't know. I don't
as
know.
far as him playing bad guys, it wouldn't be a departure. But for the character, you're right. I'm just like we're not. How can I say this? I don't think that this show needs a typical quote unquote bad guy. I think just
No.
doing the show the way it's
Yeah.
going
It's
is
doing
fine.
great, yeah.
I don't think we need a villain.
I almost like it because it's bringing in these little, almost like their own. Each episode seems to be its own storyline, so you don't necessarily have to watch it from the beginning. It's going to help with the long story, but each individual episode it does have its short storyline, which seems to be able to watch and do. So
Nixon B says, and now they're gonna have Megan as a lawyer next season.
how awesome would that be?
The twerk division.
Oh my God, the twerk division! That's a great division. Let's
Oh
make that
my
happen.
God! Look at that! Look at that! She does look like a lawyer.
She does in this with her.
That reminds me of a
outfit.
TikTok. There was this guy on TikTok, and he was like talking about how beautiful Megan Thee Stallion is, and how he would love to be with her and stuff. And this guy, people were like spreading that rumor, like, you know, she's trans, she's really a man. And this guy was like in his 50s or 60s. He was a black dude, like in his 50s or 60s. He's like I've heard that she's trans, or she's really legally a man. Even if she was, let me tell you something. Even if she was, I would blink the shit out of that boy right now. Like, it was the funniest TikTok I ever saw in my life. You could tell this dude was an old school black man with like probably very maybe he was homophobic all his but Megan Thee Stallion was the one person that he could get.
I showed you that video the other day where they asked The Rock if he could be any celebrity's pet. Who's celebrity?
He said Megan Thee
I would be
Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion's pet.
And Chris Rock was like, "Why Megan Thee Stallion?" He's like,
He's like, "We're not even gonna
Don't
talk
worry about
about
it.
it.
Don't worry about it." Megan Thee Stallion.
Amazing! I'm so happy
Hey,
right now.
she's representing Houston real good. That's our city, baby. But she did good. I liked her cameo in it.
It was a really good.
It made me feel like the cameos are gonna get like
Okay.
this was episode 3 with a great
And
slate
you
of
saw the beginning
cameos.
where she was talking about the cameos, right? Like you included it.
At the very beginning, she's like, "I know you guys are ready for Wong, and he's coming and stuff." That's one thing I said to you about episode 1 and 2. What She-Hulk does great is that it gets into our mind, like whatever the audience would probably be thinking and saying in the moment, She-Hulk acknowledges it in real time.
I
That's
love
what it
that.
reminded me of the Fresh Prince back in the day.
Yes!
Yes.
It would be like, parents just don't understand.
Yeah, look at the camera. The way Ice Cube in his movie, when he would look at the camera and that head tilt. Martin would the way they would break the fourth wall. When we were talking about this before the show, we said that if there's any perfect moment to introduce Deadpool,
Oh yeah.
I think
Yes.
this is the show.
Yes.
Because the way she's breaking the fourth wall now,
Yes.
in this episode, the way she said, I know you guys are looking forward to Wong, but this is not one of those shows where it's like cameo of the week. I'm like, wait a minute, it kind of is. It kind of is.
Which
When
I'm really excited about.
When she did that, I was like, Deadpool.
Would be perfect. It would be perfect.
I'm not gonna be like, if Deadpool doesn't show up, this show is a failure.
But it would be perfect.
If he does show up, I would love it. If he doesn't, I understand because
Some Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it probably wouldn't even be Ryan Reynolds. It would probably just be a guy in the suit. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ryan Reynolds because Ryan's busy, and then I don't see Ryan Reynolds breaking an
I
appointment.
need Ryan Reynolds.
His humor just.
I need
I don't see Ryan Reynolds doing it. I see
Hey, Ryan
Deadpool.
Reynolds, will you do it? Because we would really like
Hey Ryan Reynolds, you sponsor the John Campea show. Could you sponsor us?
Hey, Ryan
Our
Reynolds.
audience isn't sending us any super chats. And by the way, guys, if you're watching live, please, if you want to support the channel, send a super chat. Because we would appreciate it. We really would appreciate it. Ryan Reynolds, please sponsor the Talking to the Media.
It would be amazing if he did a cameo.
I don't see
Like
it.
it would work. It would work so well with how they're.
The opening is now there.
Yes.
With the way she broke the fourth wall in this episode, the opening is there. Because now it's going to be who could break the fourth wall better, her or him. I think she did a great job. But guys, that's our little spoiler talks for She-Hulk episode 3.
Yes.
Let us know in the comment section how you feel about She-Hulk. Let's see, they're going to have me. Oh, I already read that one. Let us know what you guys think. Are you looking forward to the finishing off the rest of this this series? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll talk about it maybe on an upcoming episode or on a We Got Your Milk.